Good Thursday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks, SUVs, the motorcycles. Kiefer the loud one, there it is. There's a YouTube Ice Age TV sticker for you if you want one. I'll mail you one. So, oh wow, here it is Thursday morning. It's Thursday. There are all the dogs. Go chase the neighbor. Yep, here getting all riled up, but don't fall for it there, everybody, but whatever. So, good Thursday morning there. Wow, another week is passing by as life passes by us. Just so fast. But hey, as always, thanks for tuning in my channel, watching, subscribing, helping the channel, supporting the channel. Really do appreciate the people that do reach out and make comments. I really do enjoy the comments. And it's just, I feel it's like a personal experience of you and I talking to one another face to face, which that's not easy when people are 1,000 miles away or they're in Norway. One of my subscribers reached out and gave ideas on how to help my channel, and he's from Norway, or I should say, was he actually saying for me, am I the greedy one? It was really good stuff. So hey, for Norway, I'm really impressed that I've got a subscriber in Norway. That's all I'm trying to convey here this morning. So thank you so much for supporting my channel. And as always, what are we going to talk about? Walk over to the collection of the car lot, of the Iceman's car lot, which, wow. Yeah, so we had conversations on Monday of the light, the solar eclipse. Then we had conversations on Tuesday of the trade, of the what you can trade your car for, trade values. Are you going to trade me to somebody else's YouTube channel? And then we had Wednesday, we had the questions. Which a lot of people responded for me reaching out and saying, questioning what I'm doing with my channel, what could be better, what could be worse, which I really appreciate those that reached out and commented. And then so I thought, wow, what would be the perfect word to follow with that would be answers. And I thought to myself, yeah, answers. We haven't had an answers conversation. And that, yeah, is once again, that's pretty broad. But at the same time, I think, what are we all looking for in life? We're all looking for the answers, right? Isn't that the main thing of mankind? We're looking for the answer. Why are we here? You know, the whole, who created us? Where are we going? What's the afterlife? We want the answers. And so how do we turn that into, here's my leaky faucet. Need to get Josh, my plumber man, out to my house and do some plumbing work for me. He actually watches my channel. Pretty cool. The guy came to my sink. He actually reaches out and watches on my channel. So good morning there, Josh, if you're watching today. I don't know. So, and good morning to all those that reach out. It's just really cool to have that. And Kiefer, you're just too dangerous upstairs. I don't think I can let you go upstairs because every time you go up there, you're eating something in my office. So come on back. Oh, the door didn't get open. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. No. This is tricky. I'm not going to let him up there because he's going to eat something, and I just don't like that. No. So you're going to stay down here. I want you to stay down here because you're just up to no good. You go upstairs, man, and you're destroying my freaking office. I don't trust him. So how we make this work this morning, I don't know. Do I put him back up there? Let's just see how it kind of goes. So what's the answer to that, right? Yeah, I know. Lots of things. Got my fans on. You probably hear them in the back. Crazy. Last night I reached out to my good friend Tim, my best friend growing up and still my best friend, and we talked to each other for 2 hours. I mean, it's just crazy in how we lost contact with each other for, in so many ways, 40 years. I mean, sincerely, 40 years of no communication. I would have to say I'd say 40, 42 years. And now we talk like we talked when we were kids. Teenagers. And so but it's interesting on how he didn't open my eyes. He told me some stuff and I didn't know played out. I mean, this is classic. And so the answers, what how do we keep that in the car theme, right? Yeah. Hey, Mr. Iceman, will you answer this or answer that? How much do you pay for all this stuff? Yeah. That's what I was telling my friend Tim. It's like, this is beyond crazy. For where I'm in my life, I'd have to say this is the heaviest ever of okay, so for the answers, I think a lot of times we don't want to hear the answer, right? I mean, who doesn't know that story? Especially if you're a married man, if you ask your wife a question, and what's the answer? And the thing is, in a marriage, you gotta be, you gotta have an open book. You play the closed book thing, you get that, the relationship doesn't work well. So when you ask the wife, can I buy another car? Or can I trade the car? I mean, or can I go buy a motorcycle? What's the answer, right? And I would have to say most men, they're gonna hear they don't want to hear the answer. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? And sincerely, this is very challenging in a relationship for me in my whole life. Is, hey Keith, come here, boy. Is, I didn't want to ask my wife if I go buy another car because I knew what the answer would be. She'd be like, no. Yeah, so how many times do you think I rolled up to my house and I was in a different car? And my wife just said, oh my gosh. Yeah, extremely challenging. Yes, yeah. I've been fortunate, I've been blessed to have my wife be who she is. So I didn't want to. So that's the thing. People don't want to ask the question because they don't want to hear the answer. Yeah, right? I mean, yes, I think that gets heavy and deep for a lot of relationships. And that goes south in a lot of relationships. That creates the, I'm gone. I'm done. So, but here's the thing, with all the cars and trucks and motorcycles around us, what's the number one thing we all want? We all want to have the answer to what we feel like makes sense to you. And that's challenging because you go buy a car, a truck, a motorcycle, you look at the different models, the different brands, the different, you're on the edge of maybe that car fits the seat of my pants. Like Chris, my good friend Chris, my motorcycle friend Shannon, hey, if you're watching the channel, good morning to you. He just traded out his Breakout. So he wanted a Harley Davidson Breakout for quite a long time, as well as I did, and I finally bought one. And then he actually saw my channel of me bragging about how great it is. Well, it got him to finally break down and buy a Breakout. So he bought a Breakout. Well, yeah. So his answer to him was that Breakout was a really badass looking bike. We'll go back here and show it to you. And his thoughts were that that's really going to make him happy and it's going to be cool and he's going to like it. And he did the exhaust mod on it. He did different handlebars, LED lighting. He did a bunch of stuff to it. But all in the end, it wasn't the right answer. He just traded it in for a brand new 2024 Road Glide Blue Burst with the blacked out package. So for my good friend Chris, he didn't get the right answer for his liking. So the Breakout, he just couldn't ride it. It just wasn't comfortable. It just wasn't him. And he's more the bagger bike guy per se. He's got a Honda Gullwing. And he's got an Indian Springfield. So that style bike just doesn't fit the seat of his pants. So for us, that's the challenge. And that's always been the challenge of me, is my addiction to buying cars and motorcycles and trucks. And it wouldn't even matter if I didn't have all these cars and trucks. My whole problem from day one of my life of getting around cars and trucks is always, I've never have been able to answer my happiness to continue with whatever I buy. And that's my problem. So you go back to a very young age when I got going in life, even though I'd go out and buy a neat car, 6 months, year later, I was bored of the car and it wasn't the answer to my happiness, and I go look for something else. And you think about life, it's a very challenging thing for all of us because it relates to relationships, relates to your work ethics, and you see that in personalities of people that they're constantly looking for the answer, but they never seem to find the answer that really makes them content and happy. And that's a huge problem in today's society because we have so many variables of so many different things, so many different avenues, so many different cars, so many different clothes, so many different social platforms, so many different career options. I mean, you start going through the list of just there's so many things you can do, but what's the true answer to your happiness? And isn't that kind of what we try to strive for in life, is to be happy versus being sad? I mean, we're not the Gothic. I'm not the Gothic person. I think there are people that truly get off on the dark side, but that's not who I am, and that's not my channel. And so for me, as well as everybody here listening to me talk this morning, we're always looking for the answer of, in so many ways, happiness. What makes you happy? And so I think most people would all agree that you don't go buy a car to make you unhappy. But in the end, does the car or truck or motorcycle create unhappiness for you because you've gotten something that you thought was the answer, but it really is not? And that's a big problem. And you're hearing about it through so many people that got caught up during the pandemic that had the free money, excuse me, that had the free money coming to them from the government, subsidizing everybody to stay home, and the PPP loans, and the list goes on and on and on. And so many people went out and they over-leveraged themselves and bought cars and trucks and motorcycles and paid a lot of money for them. And now in the end, they're not happy. They thought the answer would be to make them happy. And a lot of these people now are just giving their cars back and suffering the consequences of getting their credit dented. I mean, that's all that's going to happen. I mean, at the end of the day, if you give your car back, it isn't like the world's over. It's going to have a dent in your credit, which will then make it more challenging for you to buy another car. And if you even do get the chance to buy another car, you're going to pay high interest rates. There's a lot of things that go along with that. Even if they don't chase you for the debt, your credit's going to be dinged. And so many years ago, I told people on my channel that Virginia passed a law, and I don't know if it's still in effect. It may have only been a pandemic-related law that protected people during very challenging times, but there was no financial recourse. So, whether you realize it or not, in the state of Virginia, if you had cars repossessed, they could not chase you for the money. And most people didn't even know that law existed. And once again, I don't know if that law still exists because I'm not in that predicament. But I thought it was back during the pandemic. During the pandemic of 2021 into 2022, it financially destroyed my company, and I was making basically 30-40% less money, and I did have to start selling cars. Whether you realize it or not, I did downsize my fleet for a while, and I did have to take the route of one vehicle. I got a really bad argument with a finance company, and I told them come get the car because they didn't know what I knew, and I knew the answer to all that was they can come chase me for the money, but they can't because the state of Virginia will protect me from them doing that. And at the end of the day, they found out the hard way. If they would have been more nice to me and understood that they can't charge me ridiculous finance charges when they do extensions. So this is all about, back during the pandemic, manufacturers, I should say banks, were giving people relief financially by saying you can waive 3 months of making car payments. Well, if you look at the collection of all the cars I have, that's huge sums of money being saved to help me get through the challenging times. So I took advantage of that. And each manufacturer, each bank, I should say, had different guidelines and different rules on how they did that. Chase Bank, they had 3 months extension on your car loan. So all they did is they just buried the 3 months of missed payments. They extended your car loan to a longer term of you not making those payments with no interest charge. That's what most of the companies did. Unbeknownst to me, Chrysler Financial, they didn't do that. They charged the interest, recurring interest on the balance on the loan. So on one of my loans, I had close to $4,000 more in interest. It was like $3,500 or $3,800 charged back into the deal of the. I was like, this is the stupidest thing in the world. So it was one of my Jeep Wranglers that I actually bought for Julia. It was a tiki blue Jeep Wrangler, really nice Rubicon package with the retractable or the sliding sunroof, and I had also a Dodge Challenger wide body, the Octane Red Eye that I also had with them. And so the good news is the Red Eye, I got good money for it. My good friend Alex at Coon Sterling Ford, he bought out the debt on the car, so I walked away from that with no obligation. The Jeep had negative money buried into it, so I really couldn't get rid of it. But Chrysler Financial was making me so mad, I said, come get the car. I literally said, come get it. I said, this is ridiculous that you just charge me all this back-end finance charges during a pandemic, and that my loan now is that much more money. It was just the principle, so I was like, you know what, I'm done. And so, but I knew that would then dent my credit. But I was like, oh, well, we'll cross each bridge as we get there and we'll just evaluate. But here's the irony to all of that. Since I am such the car nut, the car addicted guy that buys so much stuff, that repo doesn't really show up my credit report because it's too buried in all of my deals. So any financial advisor that would look into my credit report, they would have to dig for pages and pages and pages and pages to see that happened back in the pandemic. And so, but that, if it was on the front page of every credit report that was printed out, then it would be much more challenging for me to be buying cars in my personal name. It would, not my company name. Remember, I have a company where I buy cars in my company name, and then I have my personal side. I buy cars in my personal, So that the whole point is, how do you handle, what's the answer to your challenges of when you go out and buy a car, motorcycle, truck, and if you do it right, which people on my channel all know, which do I do it right? Not so much, because my challenge is, if I only keep something for a year, it's the balance in the car will be more than what it's worth, and then it just goes to another vehicle. So if you look at the collection of my cars, I can literally tell you, well, that vehicle has the previous vehicle relationship buried into that deal. So like the Ford F450 Super Duty, that vehicle has the Ford Power Boost negative equity buried into that truck. You can go and look at the Super B, has not a lot because I paid premium price for the car, but it has some of the smoke show negative equity in that vehicle. The Ford Raptor 37, it has some negative equity from that the Frostbite Blue Dodge Charger Red Eye wide body that I traded for that vehicle. So for like every vehicle, for the most part, like this over here, this vehicle has negative equity from the Ford Mustang Mach-E. The point is, yeah, the answer on how you manage buying cars and trucks, and people are always reaching out to me on how do you do this, and that's why I'm just trying to answer people's questions that always kind of reach out and are wondering, how the heck do you do this? Well, I'm just a crazy guy. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It isn't the right financial business plan, but for me, I just always have the feeling at some point I'm just gonna have to break out and spend the money and just let go of stuff, and I've had my day. Now, is that gonna happen tomorrow? No. I mean, does it happen? I don't know. It's just, I'm always a person that feels like pray for a miracle. I tell you, if you go to my how to pray video, just pray for a miracle. I mean, miracles do happen. They really do. I just so strongly can't emphasize enough. To anybody watch my channel, miracles do happen. You just don't give up. Just don't give up that's the challenge in life. Is anybody knows? I mean, I think sports is the coolest thing, because you'll see these football games, baseball games, hockey games, and you'll see the basketball games. You'll see it looks like the other team's in dire straits is going to lose, and it's like a miracle happens where these miracle plays play out, and at the end of the day, the team that was going to lose wins. I mean, that's why I like sports, is it's such the immediate reality of what plays out and happens versus us in life. It just takes time. It takes time for things to kind of eventually play out. So here's the story about my good friend Tim and I. This is back in New Jersey, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I never knew this story. I never knew the real answer, and I never really even thought about it. But you're younger, you're a kid, and you're a teenager, you're getting going in life. It just gets kind of foggy as you get older. So back in New Jersey, I was driving my dad's red Chevy step-side pickup truck, and my friend Tim was in the passenger side of the vehicle, and it's just a two-door truck like this here. That was really all you saw back in the day. It was just these two-door cab trucks. You didn't see these four doors. That was pretty much non-existent. But we're driving down the road, my dad's nice Chevy step-side truck, and it would be about the same size as this truck right here in so many aspects, but it was a four-wheel drive. And so as we're driving down the road, this guy comes up behind me, and I had just gotten my driver's license, from my learner's permit to my driver's license, so I wanted to obey the laws and be a good driver. And we're going down the road, it's 35 miles an hour, And this guy looks like the Dukes of Hazzard grandfather. I'm trying to think. Was it Jesse? Was that the guy's name? I can't remember. I think it was Jesse. So that type of character comes up behind me very fast in his truck, and he's tailgating me and trying to push me down the road. And so I tell my friend Tim, hey, this guy's on my tailgating me, like trying to run me off the road. So my friend Tim turns around, and I thought he put his arm up and flicked the guy off. Now, Tim, my friend, swears up and down he did not. But all I know is I thought that my friend flipped him off. So as we come up to a stop sign, and we're now making a right-hand turn onto another road, he comes barreling around me and runs me off the road into a ditch where he's trying to drive his truck into my truck, and I drive the truck off the road to avoid him doing damage to my truck. So now, this is where the story kind of gets crazy. So last night, my friend Tim is telling me he went to court over that. I'm like, you went to court? I'm like, what are you talking about? So this is classic. The Iceman's life. I mean, I have stories of just, I get it. Everybody has a story. Keeping Kiefer outside, I think, is a better idea. What do you think? Yeah, I like this. Not wondering he's getting gobbled up in my office right now, like my mouse, computer, or the board. So anyways, so I'm like, what do you mean you went to court? What are you even talking about? So my Tim's like, don't you remember when this guy, and he even remember the guy's name, ran us off the road and the police came? I'm like, I barely remember the police coming there, but he's telling me that there's a lady on a horse that witnessed all of this, and she called the police. Like I called 911 yesterday. I love it. One of my subscribers, he's so funny. He goes, you call the cops on the cops. I thought that was classic. I mean, that's funny. Buddy, you call the cops on the cops. The 911 call, if you see that video, you'll maybe get a little entertainment out of that yesterday. So anyways, well, I got a cough this morning, don't I? Yeah, every say it's your dogs. The dog dander is setting in again on you. Probably. Yeah, the birds, the dogs, something will get you, right? I mean, sincerely, at some point, I mean, what kills you? You kill yourself or somebody else kills you. But usually you kill yourself. If everybody out there gets worried about getting up out of bed every day, usually plays out that somebody else doesn't kill you, you kill yourself. So, yeah, you witnessed that with me down in Tennessee on a motorcycle. So, but somebody else would have killed me, but I was part of the problem too, being on a motorcycle. You understand that. So anyways, so my friend Tim's telling me that, yes, he got subpoenaed to go to court. Well, here's the thing. Summer 1980, my father was transferred from New Jersey to Virginia. So we moved. So in the summer of 1980, I was up there with my friends, and this all happened in the summer of 1980. So the subpoena that would have gone to my house, they didn't know where I was. Back in 1980, they didn't have that type of information. So we had moved, and we were temporarily moving. We were living in actually a townhouse, as my dad was having a house being redone. And so I didn't even remember. So Tim, my friend, is telling me he went to court by himself, and he had to testify what happened there. And the guy had a lawyer, and the lady on the horse that witnessed all this wasn't at the court. So the guy beat all the tickets. Apparently the cop wrote him a ticket for running me off the road and doing something else or that or this. I don't even know all the full details, but there's something that I never knew for me, but I never even questioned this. And that's what's so crazy. I know it's kind of the answer conversations, but I never even knew that this all played out in my friend's life. And here I am just down in Virginia, having a good old time, not knowing my friend is in court in New Jersey. I mean, you know these stories? Hey, Keefy, he's right here. What a character, right? So, let me get some coffee here. Now, a lot of people responded on me saying how my channel should be better. And so I think it's interesting that I came up with the answers, which the questions turned into the answers. And I do appreciate those reaching out and giving me advice of what I should do to make the channel grow. But what I really appreciate is so many said, just leave it alone. Just do what you do and leave it alone, which I like that because I agree. The thumbnails, the GoPro camera, these are all things, no doubt, that could change the dynamics of my channel, but it's so much work. Until you do this, once I finish talking on this this phone that has a camera on it, the best phone camera I've ever had in my life that allows me to do this. I just literally take and post this video, and it uploads to YouTube instantly. If I go to the thumbnails, the GoPro, that's not going to happen. I now have to get into my computer. I'm going to have to transfer data into my computer, and I'm going to have to build content and creativity, which then takes time. And whether you realize it or not, if you look at my original videos, I used to use iMovie. I used to use the iPhone iMovie to make all my videos. And all I heard was the complaint of that there was a 1080 pixel type of video content. People would complain about how my video resolution was terrible. So the Samsung Galaxy phone that I have, this changed everything for me, where I get the high quality video and you can watch my videos and it's at a higher quality resolution. The iPhone, I had serious challenges of the settings and it wouldn't work. And the iPhone takes forever to upload video and content, but I used to go in and I used to do all the little creative editing, comments, and I did that, but it turned into hours and hours and hours of time. And I'm not embellishing to you that when I had my iPhone, iMovie phone, if you go to my original videos going back to 2020, 2021, I used to spend 4 and 5 hours a day of making videos. Meaning, by the time I made the videos and then I actually created them to be published on YouTube, that was 4 to 5 hours worth of conversation to then editing movies. It was too much. I got to the point, it's not worth it. I was like, and if you look at my channel, I disappeared. So I was kind of growing the channel, and that was back like in the February, March 2020. And I eventually just got frustrated. But what really happened? So anybody here that's listening to my channel and you question how I got here or what I'm doing, I'm trying to answer those types of questions because I think people are intrigued to want to help me and get ideas, and I agree with it. And so I disappeared from YouTube during the summer of 2020 because of the violence of the country. The country became very violent. When the George Floyd death came, it created a lot of, sadly, hate in our country. It created a lot of divisions in our country, sadly. And I'll just be very, sincere to anybody watching my channel. I didn't feel good about my channel because I felt like I'm an individual here that's just, oh, look at me, look at all my cars, look at my trucks, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm so special, right? I just didn't feel good about that. And so I just quit making video for a while. And I lost, in some ways, momentum, but I didn't like what was going on in the country. And I just wanted to really, in so many ways, hibernate and just hide from I don't know if people really remember it, but it was really a bad time because it was the media machine fueling the division of our country, which for me, I've been blessed. I have so many great friends, and my friends all look different. And I meet people all the time that all look different, and we all are good people. And that's the sad part where we are in today's society is there's just always an undermining of our culture that's trying to happen. But I think the good news is that we have more love in our country than hate, even though it's very, very, very extremely challenging. Yeah, and so that's the thing about life is, what is the answer? What is the answer? And that's the thing. It gets too deep and heavy, which I'm not really going to get into it. But what's the answer to mankind? I mean, and here's the irony to life. What are most wars about? It's about religion. I mean, so for each one of us, they have the different views, different religions, and this is classic. So I was telling my friend Tim, so I had 3 of my best friends in New Jersey, and one was Tim. He was my number 1. Bill was my number 2. Then Rob was number 3. He was my next door neighbor. And so we used to be the gang of 4 teenagers going around doing silly things. And so when I moved in the summer of 1980, my friend Bill came down. We were living in my dad's. So my dad was living in Washington, D.C. in an apartment down there near Pennsylvania Avenue. So we were right very close to the whole mall, if you know the Washington, D.C. area. So my dad invited us down to hang out in D.C. for a few days and stay in his apartment while he worked. And, so that's what we did. So my friend Bill came down and we walked around the mall. And to this day, I'll never forget my friend Bill. I mean, it's classic. My friend Bill. Oh my God. Yeah. So for Bill, I don't think he's watched my channel, but I used to always call him Egghead because he had the shape of an egg. So I used to call him, and he really made him mad when I said that. But he'd be sitting on the bus, and I'd be on the other bus, and the bus would be parked next to each other, and I would put my window down. I'd yell out, "Hey, Egghead!" And he'd be like, "You son of a..." So, but I didn't call him all the time. I just had to harass him. But here's the point. So good old Bill, we're in D.C., we're walking the mall, and if you know the Moonies, Reverend Moon, if you know who that is, probably most people kind of know the Mooney Man. He owns actual, the Sun Times or whatever. He's passed, but he was a huge religious, basically a cult type of religion. So this guy comes up with this book to us, and he's trying to get money out of this book that he has. That's the Moonies. It's the cult. And I'm telling Bill, don't go for it. Don't do it. You don't want to do it. This guy's part of a religious cult, so I wouldn't do that. But my friend Bill's like, well, I think this is a very nice man, very nice young man, and I want to help him. I'm like, look, don't do it. I'm just telling you, this is a cult, Bill. This guy here, and I'm telling him in front of the guy, this guy here is pushing religious beliefs onto you, and he wants you to buy his book. And you're going to give him money to help build the cult. And Bill's like, no, Gary, that's not true. I want to help this man. He seems like a very good person. So I'm going to buy his book. I'm like, all right, whatever. And I can't remember if it was $10 or $20, but this is classic. So he gives him the money. The guy gives him a book. And so we're walking along, and now the guy disappears. And I said, let me see your book. And he's like, here. So I open the book up, and it's not in English. It's not an English written book. So I look at Bill, I hand it back and go, here, can you read that? And he's like, what? What? That guy got me. Now he's like, where is that guy? Where is he? I'm like, he's gone. He's like, I want my $10 back. This guy just got me, man. I'm like, I was trying to tell you that in front of your... I'll never, ever forget that. It's classic. He buys a book. It's not even written in English. Oh, my gosh. So, I would, in some ways, probably bore you in the stories of what I did with my friends and what I convinced them to do at their expense for me to be laughing. So, yeah, so the answers... So, what's the answer to, once again, it gets so old? I hear everybody on the scenes. It's the Ice Age versus the EV age. And as we know, we have the green agenda that thinks the answer is the electric vehicles are going to solve the world's problem. Yet, I think it's pretty interesting for Elon Musk on X. I'm always talking about Elon Musk because Elon Musk, the guy is one of the richest guys in the world. The guy's in a movement mode of transforming mankind. I mean, he really is. But he posted a video the other day of over like 14 years of his SpaceX launches. So he made this video of just showing these SpaceX, taking off, blasting off. Well, it's like 76,000 metric tons of carbon footprint. So you say to yourself, for all the good that Elon Musk portrays to bring to mankind for the electric vehicle manufacturing to get rid of the carbon dioxide emissions, but yet in the other equation, he's here blasting rockets off like never ever seen in this country or the world. I would have to say he's probably the biggest rocket launcher to be. So for all the good that he tried to show everybody in the world that he's making these electric vehicles, but at the other end of the spectrum, he's out just polluting the world at the biggest amount of anybody. And then this is where you just have to shake your head. Meanwhile, the government's made mandates that if you don't meet the EPA guidelines, you're going to pay carbon footprint fines, and they rewarded Elon Musk to get the tax monies, should say more of the Ice Age consumer monies were given to Elon Musk for carbon footprint carbon footprint tax credits, is how they phrase it. So Elon Musk is getting, basically like $1 billion from all these different car manufacturers that are buying his so-called carbon footprint tax credits because of his Teslas aren't emitting his carbon footprint. But then yet over on SpaceX, he's polluting the hell out of carbon footprint. I mean, can you make this stuff up? I mean, sincerely, can you think that through? Elon Musk on the one side, the car companies are having to pay dearly into a fund for Elon Musk. But yet, on the other end of the spectrum, he's polluting probably more than all these car manufacturers did with building ICE cars. I mean, sure, I'm not a scientist. I don't have all the calculations. But I kind of think you kind of get the... I got a happy dog this morning. What's going on? I think my dog likes me. What do you think? That's scary, right? I've never seen that. So I've never seen Kiefer do that. He's a happy guy. What is going on, man? He's never been, the marbles are still intact. Yeah, so, and he's a young boy, right? So watch out, Ginger. I'm glad I got Ginger upstairs protected, right? Yeah, well, she's fixed. So yeah, what's the answer to that, right? Yeah, what's the answer to mankind on that there? So, all right, let's get upstairs and kind of just wrap this up. Come on, Keith. I'm going to take you inside because the daddy, the Iceman, just likes to talk a lot. I bought my friend a really nice grill, the Blackstone grill, and it's in my Ram truck. And part of me says I need to put that together for him, but then he needs a little trailer. And so he's such a great friend. He's done so much for me. I'm tempted to go out and buy him a little trailer and put get the whole grill put together for him and get him a nice trailer and then put it all together and deliver it to his house. Wouldn't that be cool? Because he wants to go around. My friend Bob, who had severe throat cancer that I lost him last summer, and I got him back this February. This year, he got over all the, come on, pups. He got over all the cancer, thank goodness. And so he wants to go around and do barbecuing for his clients and customers that he deals with. And I think that's really cool because he loves to cook. He's like a chef type of guy. Wow, it's really warm up here. I'm going to get the fan going and see, look. Yeah, nothing's been destroyed. I think that's the way to keep it, right? As you have the Ice HTV lighted sign back there. Isn't that pretty cool? How do you like that? Activity on that there. Yeah, so I don't know. So I'm thinking about doing that for him to help him. And I think he'd be very appreciative of that. Right. So, anyway, yeah, what's the answer? What's the answer to the country's challenges? I mean, sincerely, I'm just so busy doing so many things. I mean, I didn't even go into my house last night till 10:30. I mean, I talked to my friend Tim. My phone went dead as we just talk and talk and talk and talk because we're on the same page in life, and that's what it's all about. I mean, I think that's the answer in life is for us individuals. When you find somebody that's so much like in the same wavelength, you just have the same views, ideas, and that makes it so cool because you can communicate and interact with each other, and that's true friendship. But what's sad is, but so many people today, they go looking for the answer by going to the media and just watching all the negative content and violence and the hate and so it's really, I don't think people are even really cognizant on how they're fueling their unhappiness in life because they're just constantly interacting not with friendship but with hatred. And on the X, it's really so bad because there's key actors on X that mouth off all day long how they hate Donald Trump, they hate conservatives, and it's just like, I mean, sincerely, why do you do this? I mean, why do you have to hate somebody because they have different views and ideas? I mean, it's really bad. And I'm not here saying that conservatives don't hate liberals. You don't have, it goes both ways. But what are you accomplishing? I mean, sincerely, what's coming? Do you have the money to actually pass legislation to change things? I mean, sincerely. So, got to get some water. I'm sorry I'm doing that in front of you. It was probably rude, but anyways, there's two guys, Ed and Brian, in Florida that they just mouth off all day long about Donald Trump. That's all they talk about all day long is Donald Trump. And they basically hate Donald Trump. I mean, so it's really, is that the answer to your happiness? I mean, sincerely, is the answer to your happiness in life sitting behind the screen and reading all this negativity instead of getting out and living life? And that's what I try to do on my channel. I try to share my experiences with me riding motorcycles, even though, yeah, it can be dangerous. Riding around my different cars, going to see family. And it's more about relationships. The material things, at the end of the day, my friend Tim was even saying last night, he's like, do you ever think that you just rather have a really simple life? And he was saying to himself, sometimes he thinks that he should just have a simple life. He's got like 4 cars and some motorcycles, and he thinks, maybe I'd just be happier. Simple. I said, yeah, maybe you would. And for me, yeah, I mean, if you really look at me, I'm sure people would say, one comment was, that I'm greedy. And okay, but I mean, you can look at that 2 different ways. Because if you say I'm greedy, then how can you see all these things that I own that I don't actually own? So the banks own them. So I have to pay monthly payments. And those monthly payments go from the car payments to insurance payments to personal property tax payments. My friend didn't even know that here in the state of Virginia, I paid in 1 year $65,000 in personal property tax 1 year for all my cars and trucks and motorcycles. Yes. Yeah. It's beyond unbelievable. And somebody starts jumping all over me. Well, you got Florida tags. But I'm like, dude, I guarantee you, I've paid $500,000 in personal property tax. I guarantee you haven't even touched what I paid in personal property tax. Why don't you go chase the illegals? Why don't you go spend your time tracking down all the illegals that don't pay taxes? Why are you going to attack me? What comes from that, right? So my friend Tim and I were talking. I said, if you look at me, what do I have that I ever keep? So if I'm not greedy, I don't keep this stuff. I'm not attached to it. So I like this stuff, and then I get my heyday with it, and then I get rid of it. And anybody watching my channel can say, if you started watching me in 2020, what vehicle is sitting in my driveway right now that I had 4 years ago? Sincerely. Anybody here, go to my YouTube channel, look at my collection of cars in 2020, 2021, 2022. What vehicle, motorcycle is the same thing that I had back 2, 3, 4 years ago? Nothing. Because I let it go. But the greed part of it, I can understand people would say you're greedy. Well, in my eyes and views, I don't think I'm greedy because I'm sharing the monies I make for others to be employed and have jobs. Car salesmen get money off of me, car dealerships, the banking industry gets money off of me, the insurance companies get money off of me, service centers get money off of me, the aftermarket people get money off of me. And so okay, versus you look at a person that won't ever be on a YouTube channel that has millions and millions of dollars in a bank account and they don't spend it. It just sits there. They don't spend it. They don't do anything. Yeah, I mean, that's huge. People have millions of dollars that are concerned for their well-being and the future of their life, that they're scared to spend the money, or they just want to spend the money. They don't spend anything. So where's the greed? Isn't that greed? That when a person has somebody has $10 million, and all they want to do is keep it for themselves, and they don't want to actually share the money and help others. So to me, that's more greed. And that's what I was saying is you won't see the millionaires sharing all the information of their bank accounts. They're not going to share that with you. They're going to share with you if they own 2, 3, 4, 5 homes. The list goes on and on. So what's the answer? I think in life, I'm no philosopher. I'm no prophet. That isn't who I am. But I can say that for most of us, I think the answer is friendship. I think the true answer in life for us is friendship. But yet the social media machine in so many ways has ruined friendships, and people go to the social media machine and like on the likes of X, and all they do is just spew hatred all day long. But you have to say to yourself, these people just aren't happy. I don't understand why so many people are attacking Donald Trump that are Joe Biden supporters. You should be extremely happy that Joe Biden's in office and he's gotten things accomplished that will make you successful. If you're a green agenda person, then you're very happy at Joe Biden's policies because it's the most money ever spent on green agenda. So once again, I say all the time, if you're an ammunition company, a defense contractor, you're very happy Joe Biden's in office because you're supplying military warfare for wars overseas right now. So you're probably making good money. So they're probably very happy. So where's all the unhappiness? If you get into the abortion laws, you get into the college education for the tuition to be erased, you should be extremely happy. Why should you be mouthing off that you don't like Donald Trump? You should be celebrating that Joe Biden gave you all your happiness and you're sincerely happy. And if it's that great, then why would people change anything when it comes to election time? Why are you so worried? Wow. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. The daughter just came in. Why not? Why can't I show? Why? Are you happy? Yeah, she looks happy, right? I kept Kiefer out of the office. He was very happy sitting in the driveway in front of me this morning.
In front of where?
He was just sitting down. He was very happy.
Where?
Very happy. He was a very happy dog.
I don't watch it, so just tell me where.
I'll tell you later. All right, everybody. Hey, that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. Yeah, what's your answer? What's your answer of happiness? Hey, throw it out there in the comments. What's your answer for happiness? And I think that most people are going to say it's having family. And sure, the money factor, of course, I get all that. But I think at the end of the day, us having friendships is the happiness. So there you go. That's going to wrap it up. And as always, hit subscribe, share the channel, ask for a sticker. Nobody wants the stickers. Doesn't that make you happy if you wrote the Ice Age TV sticker? Come on, IceAgeTV, comments at gmail.com. Put the flag in the car and let people know you're happy because you watch a happy channel, right? That's the goal. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. God bless.